Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
So I've been thinking a lot about why I do anything I do lately. Why I breathe, why I move my body, why I mother, why I work to mother, breathe to mother, move to mother. But before that, I did all of that. And in thinking about why I do all of that, I've been thinking about what has sustained me when I think about why I'm doing anything. And when you get confused about why you're doing it to begin with, well, for me, I go back to where my safe places are to think. And I've been thinking in poetry. And I haven't shared any of the stuff I've been writing in my thinking. But writing is a place where I think. It's where I process everything. It's where I process what I am not willing to confront in the waking in this place. And when Ed asked me to do this reading in April, I thought to myself, oh God, Ed, I haven't written anything in such a long time, except with the Eka poets. And I don't want to read. I don't want to do anything because I'm thinking about why I do anything. But I thought it might help me get back to doing as opposed to thinking. And when I started reading some of the stuff that I'd written, it reminded me that poetry has always helped me to think and to process and to find answers. So I'm going to share some reflective answers of a girl that once thought, a woman that once thought, a mother that once thought, and not just me, but all the people that I ever met along my journey that inspired any poetry that I've ever written. And I am reading from poems that I have written for Eka, which inspired me to write in the last 2 years. So the first collection of poems is from the book of Love and Bone, of Love and Bone, by the Eka Poets, published in 2024 with Brian Walter, Ed Burble, Silka, Lara, Alvin, and Yakus. Umoya does not long for what it left behind when separated from the bones. It willingly leaves a strand of itself tethered to the soil. Ikhaya lichisa amathambo. When a home burns bones, a white bird flies out the mouth of a child. Ulahleke intombi. That poem is called When a Home Burns. Memory 1. You speak to dead bones. You are dead and desperate to be alive. Trapped inside isibeleko sikamama, there are dogs outside. Sickness, a taste of death the spirit craves. A brush of wind across your back. A child playing at the door. The moon is a naked woman holding her dying daughter. You want to stop fighting to breathe, but you are a ravenous creation, a gluttonous thing who wants it all. The lava, the ash, imvula, udaka, the restlessness that tears the body to devour one more sliver of breath. You are bewitched by the air here. You want no more babies. You want all the babies you lost. You would give this lost strand if it would resurrect your bones. I do want to say something about this poem. So I'm 38 years old now. I'm turning 38 in a few days, few weeks. And I want no more babies. None, zero. But oh my goodness, I never thought I would have what do you call that thing when you want children? That thing when you want children, that rush. Broody. I've been feeling broody. I've been feeling broody. And in feeling broody, I don't know how many women are here that knows what it feels broody for something that once was. So that's that poem memory. Not just the babies, but for the children that didn't live in our wombs, but the things we lost. Memory 2. I always wanted a piano, a brown grand, like the organ umama no tata bought when we moved to Beacon Bay. We were the first Black family on Hawkshead Drive. Umama was proud, Tata was cautious. I went with my sister to my neighbor's house, came back with blood running down my legs. Mama cried before scolding me. Dada carried me, Mkolo, confront Ashley's dad. Yamar. I watched Dada search for words, climbed off his back and held his hand. Dada, he says, that's how dogs are. Dada traded no more words. We walked home. He sat to read his Bible. I sat to play the piano. I always wanted a piano, a brown grand. Inimba. There is an invisible cord that connects a mother to a child. As light grows in water, this is when the mother learns language. Once the light leaves the water, the cord follows. Linked at the navel, dragging her under tables in between howling blankets, Inimba will rummage through rubble and bone, across veil and time. Umoya. I fear I have no more words to offer the world. I chose to stay. I walked into Indumbayake. She lit a candle, placed a bowl of water in the center. A part of me wanted to be saved. My madness traveled beyond my own home. And then she spoke. You have to stop visiting him. As though she had been watching me, waiting for the children to sleep. Now she wept more than me. She knew what she was asking of me. To close the door was to love the children. I stopped dreaming from that day on. I didn't come to you for 717 days, but with each night I stayed at the foot of the door. I stayed listening for your knock for 717 days. You stayed away. But so did Umoya. Yeah, reading your own stuff after years of writing it. Palestine, your mother is alive. Oh, my brother is here. My big brother is here with his child. That little disturbance we just got was love. It's my brother. Okay, so the next poem I'm reading is titled Hola.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, Putu Janwana.
I'm well, but just saw it on your status, so just decided to join you guys. I'm here. Huskies, don't cry.
Okay.
All right.
Uh, you should mute. Palestine, your mother is alive, burning with ancient dreams, buried in each gene that tore through her. No bullets, missing days, or bombs in her belly can break the promise a mother makes to a child. She will storm through centuries to avenge each patch of land, gliding through listless skies. In the evening, hints of sage and mamoon pierce the smell of war, her spirit flying to embrace each child running into her arms. She survived countless wars before this genocide, wars no man's bones could survive. It is not courage that fueled her then, but the very first scent of you, coaxed by fresh warmth. And on the day she first held you, she met God in your eyes and made a vow. Palestine, your mother is alive. Okay, now I'll be reading poems from a book that is about to be launched next month in Cape Town. Please look out on the Red Wheelbarrow page on Instagram. We're launching in May, on the 6th of May in Cape Town. The book is called Enter the Flame by the Eka Poets with Brian Walter, Ed Burbo, Suka Hayes, Lara Kirsten, Alvin Duplessis, and Yakus Kutsia. And the first poem is called Umzimba. How do you revive the dead inside? With the candle, water, and borrowed air. Again, there is an unsettled river inside you. Water does not forget names. Let the useless tongue fulfill its singular purpose in the light, to mediate spirit and heart. List the names you recall and receive those you do not. When your flesh begins to burn, settle. Watch the flame grow into living bones. Do not run. You know the difference between lost and broken and dead things. Yet you are here kneeling at the grave with hopeless phlegm and tears. Okay, next poem is Isibeleko, the womb. Before you were born, your mother went to the ocean. She stood at its mouth with her wrenched out heart in her hands. She waited 3 days to collect. Let me start again. Before you were born, your mother went to the ocean. She stood at its mouth with her wrenched out heart in her hands. She waited 3 days for the water to collect it. 3 days for your mother to make the sacrifice. On the 4th day, she walked to a whale, licking her open chest. The blood had dried on her hands now, but the organ was still beating. She placed her heart into the mouth and fell into its belly. For 9 months, her rib bones stretched towards themselves, severed veins resutured, redirected, sprouted countless roots. As her belly grew, the water began to rise. Ukukhala is to drain ulwandle. Ukuzala is to feed the ocean. Okay, the last poem from the Eka collection, because I want to hear some readings tonight. Amanzi. You loved a tree, a weathered, quiet, sacred tree. How does salt water cradle wood? Okay, I'm gonna do one more from Eka, because Eka has inspired me over the last 2 years to write. I don't know what I'm writing, but anyway, I wrote and they published it. Umphefumlo. Umphefumlo. Inside the mouth of a child lives a rainbow bird. When a child is born, the bird sings for the first time, but only after all the colors have marked her. Throughout the life of a child, the rainbow bird rarely stops singing, except to listen to another bird pushing beneath its feet, or tend to a broken bone damaged in flight, or watch another of its kind enter the flame. But some birds forget it all: the flight, the song, the sorcery of each color. That is my collection from the books Eka has inspired me to write over the last 2 years. Thank you so much to Eka Poets that I'm a part of, and the Red Wheelbarrow. I'm now going to be reading from my chapbook published by Akashic Books and African Poetry Book Fund. This is my first reading of it. I'm a little nervous. Daughter is the first poem in the book, the chapbook. Daughter. There are corridors in your memory. No, they're in my memory. I want to start again. Daughter. There are corridors in my memory I shall now take you into. Dark rooms in which I am blind and see everything, where big hands pin me down, fisting on me dead, breathing, where my blood becomes the venom, where no one saves me. There are smells in the world that freeze me. The past becomes the present, keeps me from leaving, where moonlight taste and purple futures are still waiting. I was born with the storm inside me. At the center is the dark and the light. It is the dark that held me longest. And this is the story of day and night, of home, of no place, of beauty and of love. Eli libali lomfazi, moving between time, between worlds, reaching for her mother outside her waters. Eli libali lomzimba, dying and being born at the edge of something dreamt of. This is the story of a girl, and I loved her. I loved her. January 17th. January 17th, 1994. The pregnant tree in our village. In a village called Zolobeng, over the Tina River, there is an empty house built upon the bones of a queen. Mamrena, they called her. She birthed 6 kings. One died on her back, 6 months old. And where he died, a pregnant tree pushed out right from the center of her back. Hunched like this, she walked, a tall Sesotho creature, Mamrena, covered in yellow snake skin with a towering brown tree on her back. Since her mate disappeared into the ground, they say the men in her village dared look into her blue eyes. They all heard of the one who drowned in her. But I did. I grew up going into her, never wanting to come out. Mamrena is my grandmother. And she lived her whole life in Solomon. And she was a towering tree. Okay, I'm skipping a few poems in Crying in My Mother's Tongue so you can get it. Ed, please share my email address on the group. And if anyone got the email, they have it, so I can give out these free copies of 100 copies I have of this chapbook. So please send me emails and I will send you this book. One is called March 19, 2007, Sisnoktula. Do you remember how you called me, Siso? But I was only 1 year ahead of you. I spent 150 days counting scars to see your face. You taught me how to listen to Tomato's tales of her parents, to forget my own, how to make black ice cream with Kool-Aid and ShopRite plastics. We would smile, each smile, teaching the other the new language we had to learn. You taught me how to jump over torn pantyhose, to quietly land on the other side, smile. You said I had been here before you. I felt the same about you. Yeah, I'm gonna read one lighter poem about lovers. We've all had lovers. One of mine was called P. His name wasn't P, it started with the letter P. It wasn't my lover, it was a lover, someone's lover. Guess I was inspired by it. Or you'll never know. 3 letters I never gave to P. 1, dear P, your tongue. I want you in my mouth. I want your face in my mouth. I want to shove you down my throat to meet your tongue. I don't want you to speak outside of me. I want to swallow you. I want to follow your tongue to my father's. 2, dear P, to lay with you. You climb my bones. Eyes closed, you tear into me blindly, into a wound trembling. You dig deeper to feel the wound I cannot see. Beneath your waist, your spirit is a violent storm. Can you really not feel, or do you simply enjoy me dying? 3, dear P, don't wake up. You wake me up at night in your bed, sweating, annoyed that I am pouring water. You do not know the damage you do. I am a whale swimming alone inside the waters. I hear a song faint, but I know I know it. I swim towards the song. When I almost reach the face of the song, I hear a child crying on the shore. It is my child. I am swimming toward the child in my belly. When I reach the shore, I lift my head. You wake me up. 3 letters to P. The prophetess's hand. Back against the bed, the hand rises, tears through the roof, breaking into the sky. It gathers a handful of stars, comes back down, Inkosazana, leaving behind Inkosi. In the silence they watch, the prophetess's hand, planting Inkwenkwezi into the mouth of a girl. I swallow, and in the morning I give birth to a baby girl. If anyone knows, I am a mother of a beautiful baby girl, and I felt like the day I gave birth to her, I probably wrote that poem. Okay, I'm going to read 2 more poems. The one is titled Dear S, I Remember How I Came, and the last one is Ed's favorite poem. August 9th, 2020. Dear S, I remember how I came. My first father was Soot. My last husband was Soot. They once were one. I lost my first father before I came here. I left him with my 7th father's seed. This is how to make love, to make me. Zutu I see. It is heavy to cross over, but this is how. In the darkness, your hand always found mine to keep me from going too deep into the water. You knew better how to cross. You knew better how to walk underwater, how to take, what to take, and what to bring them to let you back to me. They took you long before your body stopped. And you were only granted enough time to help me return to you one day. Okay, may I have a glass of water before I do my last poem?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Ed, did I do my 30-minute mark? Have I reached 30 minutes at least?
I believe so, yes. But time disappears in this room. So you could happily read more. Up to you.
No, I think this will be the last.
I knew you would say that, but I had a feeling you would. Yeah. Okay.
Actually, this is Jacques' favorite, Jacques' favorite poem, not yours, Ed. Return to Tolobeng. 2 cubs in my hand, one with open eyes, the other asleep. I'm placing them in my mother's palms, tougher than mine to shield them. I'm going to the mountains for a while, where 2 old women wait for me, outside a green hut, guarded by brown horses, at the top of a hidden mountain, overlooking an old river full of queens and secrets. The 2 old women will only watch me as I build, with hands covered in manure to cast walls to find me. And I will sleep only to visit the elders, but I will wake each day with the ones that do not speak, to save my children from a life without rivers and mountains and horses and quiet and land and snow and a mother I will wake each day despite the urge to stay on the other side, to build a home in Zolobeng. So I teach my children what is in a name. So a life of color is not that of complexion. So a life of color is not that of the tangibles. So a life of color is not that without a name. So that each click that comes out of my mouth has a root with a home that they can call their own. I have been waiting for a while now, long before this trip. Sometimes a mother needs to return home to be a mother, because sometimes this world, this place can make you forget to be human. How to feed a child and be no one else. How to look at a child with open eyes, which turns you took that quite cut wires in you. Because you are on the edge and the mind is screaming and they are screaming and the world is screaming. And if you say one more word or take one more wrong turn, whatever colorful string is holding your body together with your soul will unravel. I'm going back to Tolobeng, back to my ancestors' land, where truth and sanity wait in whispers.
Hey, Qhali.
I haven't read that in a while. I was tripping up on my own poem.
You haven't. It's still my favorite poem. And Jack, probably yours. Hey, thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much.
Can we unmute and show our appreciation for what we've just heard?
Halala Qhali, halala.
Yeah. It's so beautiful to hear you again, Qhali. It's Mary here. I can feel every word. I felt it.
Yes.
Hey, so Qhali, are you ready to dive into the Q&A, or do you want to just take a breath?
No, I'm ready.
Okay,
Let's do it.
so okay. Yeah, I could start us off with a question. I have some questions. Just to say, hearing the poems from the chapbook, that was amazing, and hearing the poems from the Eka book, the new one. There's just something about reading and how something comes across when it is read. Yeah, really powerful. Thank you. I'm rambling. I'm supposed to be a host, and I see Jacques has a hand up, so he'll start us off. Okay, go for it, Jacques.
Oh, I thought I was going after you. Heidi, I'm always so moved by your reading, and tonight was no different. And thank you for bringing the storm at the center and bringing. I always love the way that you bring the madness into the room as well, and the the wild things. Um, yeah, I wonder if you want to, if it's possible to say something about how you balance that, how you balance those things. I think of the image of the lava and the ash. I mean, those are things that often we think of in terms of destruction, but they're also somehow on the side of life in the poems. And so that was the one thing I wondered. And the other thing um, is, and I think I'm just ignorant, but the poem about the mother going to the ocean before the baby is born and speaking to the ocean, somehow holding on and letting go at the same time. yeah, I'm just raving really. But I wonder if you could say something around those things. Just such a gorgeous reading. I'm just very moved by it. Thank you.
Well, Jacques, you are the least ignorant person I've ever met in my life. I am obsessed with you. If I could live in Cape Town, just hang around you all the time, I would.
I like that. Yes.
Um, I don't know. I think the only reason we write is to find the balance for those of us that do write. I don't think I have found a balance, or I find it in poetry, but after we do write, we find a balance. I don't have an answer to finding a balance in poetic structure or writing. I think some poems can be very angry and very loving and very soft and very hard because, that's where you are at the time. And then at some point, whilst writing something, you move from the outer state. So I do know that I do write sometimes very angry when I start writing. And then I shift into finding comfort and solace within whatever was pouring out. And I don't think that's a subconscious thing. I think it's a life thing, and it's a poetry thing that happens. I don't have any. I don't plan to be balanced. I think I'm just very present in my everyday life, and that carries through to the poetry. So thank you for saying there's a balance sometimes in the poetry.
Well, I mean, like an image like the fire and the lava and the ash, it's very haunting because it's, lava is destructive, but it's also, I don't know, like something that has been cooped up in the earth that's coming out, being released. I'm just guessing, really. So,
And you have to tap into that even in your writing, I guess. Like if I'm going to respond to this in terms of literature, sometimes you want to write something, but you don't want to write it because you feel like that's not how you felt initially. But you do know that you are no longer feeling the way that you felt when you initially started whatever you were writing, or even when you reflect on whatever inspired you. So there is lava, and there is ash, and there is rain, and there is the storm, and there is the fire. And for me, like writing, and I said this earlier when I started, Jacques, and we've spoken about this as well. It's a medium, poetry is such a medium to process whatever you're feeling. And if you only focus on your anger or your pain, and not allow anything else that's whispering to you at the time, in the midst of all of that, then you'll miss the beauty of the lava and the ash, the rain, and the what's opposite of rain? The rain and the fire.
yes. Yeah.
I didn't even know there was that contrast. Yeah.
Oh, don't worry about it. Just keep writing. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Can't wait to see you. Don't know when.
Good to see you.
Hey, Qhali, I before I get to my questions, I just wanted to, I don't have your email address in front of me, but it's qhaliwrites@gmail.com, isn't it?
No, that's my Instagram account.
Okay.
Email address, Qhali Poetry, QHAI Poetry @gmail.com.
Okay. I was going
And then,
that.
yeah, I don't really use the main domain one.
Okay. That's for the chapbook, yeah? So, okay. There it is. My questions are, yeah, the one is to do with, and I must try and find a way to say this that actually makes sense, but it's to do with being a bilingual poet and working and weaving, and I love the fluidity between languages in your work, and it's, yeah, it's just, I just wanted to hear from you how you navigate that, what that brings up for you, what it opens up for you or doesn't. Really an open-ended,
Go to the toilet.
really an open-ended kind of question. Yeah, just language and foregrounding that bilingual aspect. And the other one is, the other question is more to do with where you go with your writing. And there's the word veil in Umoya, I think. So it often feels like the writing is, or you are going between the living and the dead, or the poem is going, between the seen and the unseen, between waking and dreaming. So for me, that's just, yeah, that draws me in. That it's just an observation. I don't know if you want to respond to that.
I do want to respond to it with regards to bilingual writing. And if there is a bilingual writer or an indigenous writer that is here that doesn't know, like, whether or not, this is something that has space in this world. I didn't think like I could write outside of English for, most of my life. And I still think and write predominantly in English. But that's not how we are in our everyday lives. We don't speak in English. We speak bilingually in South Africa. And then, when we're really comfortable, or in some instances, or most of the time when it's not expected, you just speak your language. So bilingual writing was a choice. And then it became a fight. Even with this publication, where I was asked to translate some poems. And I did. I translated them. But I was just very grateful that they asked me to translate it and not to leave them out completely. And it's important. It's important to be who you are. And if who you are as a writer is a bilingual writer, then be who you are. And that's who I am. I'm not an English writer. I'm myself, and I'll write whatever comes out of me at the time. And I'm very grateful that I have found people and publications and institutions that have supported, that. But in some instances, you just have to just ask or fight for that poem. And it's made my poetry better, and it's made me, I think I got published because I actually submitted Xhosa poems, to be quite honest. I don't think my poetry was any more special than all of the other stuff. And I think the fact that there was isiXhosa in my poetry made it stand out. And them asking me to translate my stuff to them, and then me asking to keep the isiXhosa within the publication. That was me, then fighting for the language to stay, but I do think it is an important question. Although I don't think you wanted us to go political today. But I did want to mention something about the importance of being who you are. And if you're not a bilingual writer, or if you don't write naturally in your language, then don't. But if you are, do it. Because I don't know how to just write pure English poems. I don't know how to do that anymore. It's not natural to me to just write purely English poems because I don't speak like that, and now I don't write like that anymore, and that's not how I am anymore. So it's very natural for me to not write purely in English. Where if the world were equal, I'd probably write more in Xhosa than I do in English.
Thank you. Yeah. No, absolutely get that. And yeah, keep on keeping on. I mean, it feels effortless. That it just, in terms of what I hear, not that I understand, it's Xhosa, but it feels effortless the way you bring it together. Yeah. And hey, and then I don't know.
Thank you for that question. I didn't think about it. I didn't think if you were going to ask it. I didn't think it matters. Like I thought like, like it's just who I am now as a bilingual writer, so I didn't prepare for it,
No, it's a conversation. And like I said, the other thing was just you draw me in with the sort of probing of sort of, I just used the word veil in my, because that came from your poem. I think it's Umoya, that poem. And then it just occurred to me that across the poems, there's this navigating between the seen and the unseen and the worlds of the living and the dead and so on. So maybe all of this is self-evident, but it's so strong in the poems.
And so much of what you're mentioning does not live in English and does not live in Western culture. So there's an injustice in even me writing that in English, because everything I write about in English does not live in English. It does not live in the Western culture. It's all from my indigenous Sesotho culture. And then I have to translate that. I have to translate everything to English. And that's difficult. So much get lost in that. And so much got lost to me, even learning that. And then now I'm rewriting it in English. So it's not just about the bilingual writing. It's also understanding what you've just said, that the things that you learn as an English person and as an English reader from an isiXhosa or Sesotho or Ndebele writer who had to translate their own culture.
Yep. There it is. Thank you, Qhali. Yeah. And the work is, I mean, many of the poems you read, there's a fierceness and a presentness, but there's also a great tenderness. Especially the poems for children, mother, children. Well, it features that relationship, whether it's your own mum or your own children. It's there in the poems. It's that I feel as one reader or listener, I feel your connection to them. I'm rambling. So, yeah. Thank you, Qhali. I don't know if anyone else has questions, comments. There's some comments in the chat. I don't know if you can see those, Qhali.
No, I can't. No.
Okay.
I'm happy to move to the...
Oh, you want to okay. Okay, you got two questions though from your brother. I think it's your brother. Yes, Sula says, "Thank you, Moses. Very powerful and constructive." Letokule, Simang, same here. Amazing. I can't see that comment. That's from Sorry, I'm not good with these things, but there's appreciation there. And Razan, your hand was up first, so go for it.
Hi everyone. Hi. Thank you. I really appreciated your vulnerability when sharing your poems. Just in this, like, I haven't experienced such vulnerability in a while, so it really took me aback. And I just wanted to ask you, how do you then relate with non-Xhosa speaking audiences? Like for me, while listening to your poem, I'm non-Xhosa speaking, so I still resonated with the poems just based on the sound of Xhosa alone. You could resonate it with like the sounds, the linguistic like structure of Xhosa. So I was just wondering how you do that.
Am I on mute? Can you hear me, Razan?
Yeah.
I love your question. So I've worked with I am an Indigenous languages publisher. Although I'm on a sabbatical for indefinitely, so I will not be doing anything other than raising my children indefinitely. But I have worked in Indigenous languages publishing for the past 5 years because I hear and feel everything that I do not understand, which is what you've just said. And it's the same with music, right? Like you can listen to like a song and you don't understand what they're saying, but you just feel it.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you've just said. And when a poem is, I think you are going to understand what I'm about to say. When a poem is emotionally or spiritually intentional, you feel it. I don't know if I can say they're superficial poems, but they're poems that people just write for the sake of, I don't know, writing a poem. And you feel nothing. And they're poems that you just feel and you don't have to understand what it meant. And it has to do with like someone reading it to you. If you don't know the language, you can't, you won't know what they're saying. But it's the same with music. There's some songs you feel it and you don't know what the person is saying. And that's the beauty about these groups where we read to each other.
Yeah. No, 100%.
I
Like
feel
you
it.
hear when you listen to like Spanish music, you can connect. Like for example, if you would listen to Spanish gospel, you still connect to the song. Like, yeah, similar when I was listening to your poem. That's what happened with me, yeah. Yeah.
I listen to music from all over the world, all languages, and I'm here and I don't know what they're saying. And it's the same thing with poetry. I just feel some stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Razan, for your question. And thank you, Qhali.
You're welcome.
Mary, you're up. You've got a question? Mary, we can't hear you.
Sorry, there I go again. Qhali, I wanted to say how deeply I appreciate your poetry. Every word, whether as you've been saying, understood or not, it has been understood in my whole being. And I just love that you are being bilingual as a kind of resistance to assimilation by the so-called dominant culture. That you're keeping your mother's culture alive, you're keeping that fire alive, and that's what those words come across as, that they're fire, and you can hear it in your voice, that you're just tending this fire and you're not going to let it go out. And that makes me deeply happy, understanding the politics behind all of that. So, yeah. So have I got a question? What came to mind was like this, the fire, your mother's fire, is that you're tending it like the Olympic flame, bringing it through year after year. And it's the flame that is not allowed to go out. And yeah, that gives me such hope. And I also just love the fact that as you were reciting your Umoya poem, your brother arrived. And it was just like you'd called him into the room. And that made you so happy that you cried. It was a wonderful experience. And as Rosanne was saying, it's your vulnerability and your feelings are just out there, and so I feel very protective towards you, because not that sounds condescending, but as a mother, I suppose, a sister, that vulnerability that you're putting out there, I can really feel it. And yeah, I don't want that fire to go out. So I don't really have a question, other than, I think you've answered a lot of questions, and I just wanted to express that to you in this space. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mary.
Yeah, it's making me
Thank you for
tearful.
acknowledging the resistance. Yeah, I'm getting emotional.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Qhali. Hey, well, I think that wraps it up. That brings us to the end of this particular adventure. Thank you, Qhali. I feel like a lot happened here this evening, and I liked the journey from the echo through just the various things that you chose. It was a lovely, very varied selection. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Hey,
And see how I did not read anything like graphic, and I didn't do all of like really hard stuff, and I didn't know if I could have a good reading without like stuff that I'm really, really angry about, So today I just decided like don't like be angry. Don't like use this platform to be angry, because the world makes you angry, And I did it. I did a poetry reading without being angry.
I'm going to read a poem that's going to answer that.
Well,
Please, animals now.
Qhali, we're just going to have to invite you back for an angry reading.
We can't control these. We can't control whether our poems are angry or not. So, he's welcome.
Thank you.
Anger is good. Anger is good.
I agree. I think our job is just to tell the truth.
Yeah. Suppressing anger is dangerous.
Yes. Yes.
But also to be able to see your anger, to express your anger and see it and know it, understand it. So we here to hear your anger as well. I can take it.
Well, that sounds like a request, actually. But
If someone here who has a hand they want to raise, but they're using my device, can someone raise a hand? I'll just. I don't want to be seen. I just want to say. Yeah, I'm just gonna take the video off,
Okay.
and then if that's if someone wants to respond to that, they can. But if our session is done, can we move on to the open mic? If
Yes,
there's
we
no response.
sure.